Hello, my loves. Ruby here. Welcome back to my channel. An oracle deck has recently come into my life that I have really been enjoying working with. And this is not an oracle deck that I would normally gravitate towards or purchase for myself. So it's a little bit of a surprise that she came into my life. But you know how they say that relationships are here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime? That's how I feel about tarot and oracle decks as well. And this deck definitely came into my life, at the right time, at the right season for the right reason. So I thought that I would just share her with you, share how I've been working with her. And, if you are in a similar place in your life or you are seeking a similar medicine, a similar energy from a deck, this might be one to add to your collection. By no means do I think that this is like a ride or die. You have to have it. But I do think that it is a supportive tool for a particular reason, and that is the Healing Heart Oracle, Love Letters to Your Soul, written by Ina Segal, published by Rockpool. So this is a mass market deck. I purchased this at Magic Fairy Candles in Longmont, Colorado, which is the shop that I am the head reader at, but I'm sure that you could find this deck on Amazon. I will try to find it and add it to my Amazon storefront link so you have an easy way to access the deck if you feel like this deck is calling you. Let's take a look at the deck together, shall we? So like I said, mass market, published by Rockpool. I love how this box opens. Like, look at this. It is so satisfying. I don't think I have another deck with this type of box. I'm in love. Okay, so we open the box. There are some words inside. It says, send healing love letters to your heart and build your inner strength. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, as much as I love the box itself, this isn't my preferred aesthetic, but I do enjoy the actual experience of working with the deck, despite a few flaws. So this is the guidebook, and I would say one of the major flaws to me is the feel of the guidebook and the quality of the cardstock on the deck. And I do love this big ribbon though. Okay, so we have the cards themselves. These are the backings. These are the gilded edges. And I feel like this deck is going for like the aesthetic of opulence with the box and the ribbon and the gold, but the cardstock quality is just not there. This is like my least favorite type of mat. Like it feels kind of grating to the touch. Like I don't really enjoy touching it. And while we have these beautiful gilded edges, like I can tell that these are going to wear down in the same way that the Earth and Bone gilded edges have worn down on my copy of Earth and Bone, which is also published by Rockpool. And this is a deck that I will shuffle very, very carefully. This is going to warp if you use a heavy hand. I can already tell, like, I've barely used this deck and we already have a tiny little bit of warpage. Nothing that bothers me, but just be mindful if you choose to purchase the deck that this is on the lower quality side, okay? So let's take a look at the guidebook. Let's see here. It's in full color. There's an introduction and how to use the cards, a few spreads, and then we get to the cards themselves, and you have a color reproduction of the card image, the card title, the tagline, and then this is like a letter to your heart. So it says, dear hurt heart, I know you carry lots of sadness inside of you, and then it goes on. So that's like the way that the card meaning is written out. And then for each card, you get a heart healing. And then this is either journal prompts or like an energetic exercise, a visualization, something that you see in some of the Alana Fairchild decks, like a little exercise, an actionable way you can integrate the medicine of the card. And I will say, I really like the heart healing prompts in this deck. And how I've been working with this deck is I've been drawing a card, really taking in what the guidebook has to say. The guidebook is beautifully written, beautifully written. This is like the Queen Map Oracle. This is a deck you purchase for the medicine in the guidebook. If you could only purchase one deck between these two, I would purchase the Queen Map Oracle. I think the Queen Map Oracle is a better deck and a deck that you will use more consistently. But Similarly to that deck, it's not really the card images themselves that are, why I feel I'm working with this deck at the time. It is the experience of integrating the wisdom of the guidebook. I'm really taking it to heart, healing heart, and doing some actual inquiry and journaling on what comes through. Okay, so that is the guidebook, and then let's look at the card images themselves. I'm gonna be honest, this is not a deck that I would ever purchase for the images. I don't really love the images. Some of them feel very like AI to me. It's just not my personal taste. I know I said something similar about the Queen Mab Oracle, but I actually like the images in the Queen Mab Oracle a lot more. Like, I don't hate this one. And I enjoy the title being on the side. That's a nice deviation. But overall, if it was just up to the images themselves, I don't think that this is a deck that would be added to my collection. The reason why I added it to my collection is because I felt very intuitively pulled towards it. And so I purchased the deck, drew a card, and the wisdom in the guidebook was exactly what I needed to hear. So, when and why to purchase this deck? This deck is a wonderful tool for healing a broken heart. So if you are in a place in your life where you are going through a breakup, or you are experiencing grief, or you feel that there are these patterns in your life around, love unreturned or betrayal, if you feel like you really struggle with like attachment issues, you have a hard time trusting, you have a hard time maintaining relationships, this is a great tool for that. I am recently in a place where I am working through a broken heart, and that is manifesting on multiple levels. That's not just like a romantic relationship that's ended. That is some other interpersonal relationships in my life that have come to an end. And not only that, but those specific instances that happened recently have really caused me to realize that there is a lot of unprocessed grief from older circumstances that I do love this image, the image that's in the box. That I'm ready to release. I'm ready to truly heal, because I think a lot of times we just associate healing as okay, it doesn't hurt as bad anymore. But I'm realizing that there's still some residue in my heart from older stuff that I am ready to work through. And this deck really speaks to that in a beautiful way. And I think it has this beautiful ability to, I think, connect you to your own heart space. Because a lot of times I think when we think we're feeling our feelings, we're intellectualizing our feelings. We think we're processing, we think we're feeling our feelings, but really we're just ruminating. We're in the mind. And I think that this deck is such a lovely tool in terms of it really giving you this opportunity through the way the guidebook is written and just the energy of the deck itself to just actually drop into the space of the heart and to see what's there. And, and so if heart healing is something that you are feeling called to in your personal spiritual and healing practice, I do think that this is a really supportive ally for that. Do I think that everyone needs to purchase this deck? No. Do I think that I will work with this deck forever? I'm not sure. I think that I'm going to work with this deck in tandem with some of the other decks that I've been talking about recently until I feel like my work is complete with it. And then, maybe I will set it aside until I need to work with it again. So this is definitely a reason and a season deck for me. This is not oh my God, I'm going to be working with this deck every day for the rest of my life. And I share those decks on this channel too. but I don't think that every deck we work with needs to be that. I also think that this would be like a beautiful deck to work with if you're just feeling blocked. The prompts, like if you're like, feeling stagnant in my journaling practice, like I want to be more creative, but I'm feeling blocked. There's something about the energy of this deck that I think would be really well suited to removing creative blocks and removing personal blocks to self-expression or just self-inquiry. Like sometimes I get really stuck when I'm journaling. I think we've all had those experiences of just like the well is dry, like what do I journal about? This would be a good deck to work with for that. And it's like, I want to say maybe there's 36 cards in this deck. I'll look at the very end, but it's a smaller deck for sure, on the smaller size of an oracle deck. All right, so I will leave a few images for you to look at, but that is majority of the cards. And yes, I was correct. There's 36 cards in this deck. So that is the Healing Heart Oracle. Working with it in a very similar way as I'm working with the Queen Mab Oracle. I think that if you could only purchase one, like I said, get the Queen Mab. But like the Queen Mab Oracle, it is more of like a shadow work deck, dark feminine, know your boundaries, like know your worth. This is like a Mother Mary, like you are worthy of being loved, like don't give up, feel your feelings, show yourself tenderness. Not saying that like that is not present in the Queen Mab Oracle as well. The Queen Mab Oracle is a very compassionate deck, but this is very much Mother Mary medicine. If I had owned this deck at the time I did my decks to work with Mother Mary video, I would have included this one. It's so sweet, so nurturing. It's like Miss Honey from Matilda. That is this deck. So, I mean, I don't think that there would be any harm in adding it to your collection. But if your relationships are going great, if you feel like you've got such a strong heart chakra, you have so much to give, you've done that healing, maybe this isn't your medicine. But if you're going through a breakup, you are going through a loss, you're mourning, you're feeling like love is never going to happen for you, you're struggling in your interpersonal relationships, you're feeling really lonely, this could be a supportive tool. All right. As always, I'm sending you love and I'm wishing you well.